You're doing everything right, at least everything you've been told to do. You visualize every morning, you write down your wishes, you repeat affirmations, you meditate, you seek alignment, you speak of high vibrations. You convince yourself that the universe is listening to you. And then you look at your life and your stomach tightens. Because it's always the same scene with different actors. The months change, but the same energy moves within you. New intentions, same results. And at a certain point, the question becomes unbearable. Why doesn't it work? Why does my reality seem like a loop? Now listen to me carefully, because this is the part that almost no one has the courage to tell you to your face. You're not stuck because you're incompetent. You're not stuck because you don't believe enough. You're not stuck because you don't deserve it. And you're not stuck because you lack the right information either. You're stuck because you're sending the wrong signal, and you're sending it just when you think you're aligned. Yes, you understood correctly. The problem isn't your techniques. The problem is your base frequency, the one you can't control, the one that activates when no one is watching, when you turn off the motivational music, when you close your affirmations notebook, when you go back to being yourself and you find yourself breathing shallowly, clenching your jaw, thinking, what if nothing changes? That vibration is your true command, and the quantum field doesn't respond to your words, it responds to that command. The field isn't romantic, it's not kind, it's neutral, coldly neutral. It doesn't reward effort, it doesn't reward hope, it doesn't reward the amount of time you visualize. It reflects coherence, period. And if your deep coherence is fear disguised as positivity, then reality will give you exactly that. Situations that seem like opportunities but smack of anxiety, relationships that attract you but consume you, money that comes in but then disappears, bursts of enthusiasm followed by a silent collapse. Not because you're cursed, but because you're repeating the same signal. And here comes the first thing you must accept, even if it stings. You don't manifest from your vision board. You manifest from your nervous system. You manifest from the emotions that seem normal to you. You manifest from the energetic posture with which you face the world. You manifest from what you tolerate, from what you accept as inevitable, from what you tell yourself when you fail, from how you react when someone doesn't answer you, when something doesn't add up, when your body hurts, when you feel ignored, when you think, here we go again, because there's a law no one taught you, the law of vibrational repetition. Your subconscious isn't designed to make you happy. It's designed to make you safe. And safe doesn't mean expanded. Safe means familiar. Even if that familiar is suffering, even if that familiar is stress, even if that familiar is scarcity, the subconscious prefers a known prison to an unknown freedom. And guess what? The quantum field takes that familiar and treats it as a request. That's why you feel trapped. Because every time you try to change, an invisible reset occurs. You might not notice it right away, because at first there's energy, motivation, this time I'll do it. But then, like a rubber band, you spring back. And that return isn't bad luck. It's an energetic signature that reactivates. It's the old you taking back control. Now, the real question is this. Do you really want to change, or do you just want to feel better for 5 minutes? Because truly changing means something almost no one accepts. It means letting a version of yourself die. Not metaphorically, energetically. And that's scary, because that version, even if it limits you, is familiar. It protected you. It gave you an identity. It gave you a story to tell. And your current reality is built on that story. And now listen to the part that will get you to the end, because if you understand it, a path opens up for you. The loop doesn't break when you think positive. The loop breaks the exact moment you're about to react, as you always have. And instead, you do something different. A microsecond of conscious choice. That's when you decide whether to repeat or change. That's when the timeline shifts. That's when reality stops being a sentence and becomes a field. And do you know what the paradox is? The moment when it feels like nothing's changing, the moment when you feel frustration, confusion, and that little voice that says it's not working, that's often the moment when you're closest to making the leap. Because before every transformation, there's destabilization. The old code rages. The old pattern tries to reclaim its space. And it does so in a specific way. It brings you yet another same old situation, as if to say, see, you're still here. That's a test, not of the universe, of yourself, of your new signal. And now I'll tell you clearly, if you wait for proof before changing frequency, you'll always lose. Because the proof comes later. First, the signal changes, then the matter changes. First, the observer changes, then reality collapses. If you ask, show me, and then I'll believe, you're transmitting doubt, and the field gives you back another reality that confirms the doubt. This is how people stay trapped for years, not because they don't know what to do, but because they keep negotiating with the old self. So what do we actually do? I'm not telling you to make more affirmations. I'm telling you the opposite. Remove interference. Because manifestation isn't about adding, it's about removing noise, urgency, tension, control, and above all, removing the habit of automatically reverting to the old you. Let's start with the body, because the body is the antenna. If your nervous system is on high alert, any positive thought is overridden. So the first thing is to learn to stay in a new sensation without running away. Peace, silence, stability, abundance. For some, it's almost unbearable because the mind is addicted to anxiety. Yes, addicted. Because anxiety is familiar, therefore safe. And when you try to truly calm down, the body interprets that calm as unfamiliar territory and pulls you back into the old pattern. And here comes the simplest and most powerful technique. When you hear the old loop, don't argue with it. Observe it, name it, and ask a question that splits reality in two. Does this thought belong to the old me or the new me? If it's old, don't fight it. Don't pay attention to it. Breathe and choose a micro action that the new you would do now. Not tomorrow, now. A small choice, but a real one. Because the field responds to what you embody, not what you desire. And now I'll tell you the part that will surprise you. When you start to truly shift frequency, some things get worse before they get better. Not because you're doing it wrong, but because what isn't consistent with you begins to crumble. People drift away. Situations crumble. Old patterns forcefully resurface. It's the old world trying to hold you back. It's the vibrational echo demanding attention. If you turn back at that moment, you've missed the path. If you stay consistent, the path opens. That's why I tell you, don't look for change outside. Look for the exact point where you're about to repeat. The door is there. The leap is there. Now, stop for a second and be brutal with yourself. What's the loop that's stealing your life? Relationships? Money? Self-esteem? Health? Procrastination? Fear of judgment? Tell me the truth. What movie do you always find yourself in, even when the setting changes? Because as long as you don't name it, you fuel it. But when you name it, you separate it from you. And when you separate it from you, you lose your identity. And when you lose that identity, the field loses command. And now, the final point, the one that makes this version viral because it forces you to choose. If you've gotten this far, it's not by chance. It means that inside you, there's already a version that wants to break out of the loop. And that version doesn't want more content. It wants a decision, not a promise. A decision. So do this. In the comments, write a single, blunt sentence without explanation. I break the loop. And immediately underneath, write, what is the loop you're collapsing? Not the one you want, the one you're letting die. Because when you declare it, you stop negotiating, and the field takes note. And if you want to stay on this frequency, if you want this to be your new normal, sign up for Quantum Mind Frequency, not to follow a channel, but to train yourself to remain coherent when the old world pulls you back. Because the loop doesn't end when you understand. It ends when you remain stable long enough to force reality to realign. And now breathe. Because if you feel tension, it's a good sign. It means the old code is defending itself. And when the old code defends itself, it means you've hit the right spot. At the end of this video, I don't want you to feel inspired. I want you to feel inevitable. The loop ends here. The shift starts now.